Hello, this is Joe back with another video. Flying an F-18 off the Miltech Supercarrier Pro. It's a really good product. It actually has a lot of functional things that some of the other add-on carriers don't have. You can select to launch off of different catapults, and you press it, and the crew will actually appear, guiding you in. Uh, Even the elevators. Uh, You can click on an elevator to lower or raise it. Uh, and as you can see, the elevator is starting to go down. It even has a hangar deck. Uh, Go down here. I'm just going to clip through the. There we go. Okay, yeah. It even has a fully detailed hangar deck. This is a really cool add-on, and so far all the times that I've launched and landed on this carrier, everything's functioned pretty much like it's supposed to. Uh, any aircraft, and this will launch any aircraft. Uh, uh, you can use the F-18, the F-14, uh, the F-4, any aircraft with a tail hook, it'll capture, and it'll launch any aircraft as well. Uh, Now, it even has a little cheat for landing. So it's like if you're having a hard time catching wires on the carrier, and you just want to land on the deck and stop, and to make it easier, you can click on Enable Modern Arresters, and that'll work for any aircraft, whether they have a tail hook or not. You could do it with a Cessna 172. You could do it with a Cessna Citation corporate jet. It will stop any airplane. You click on that. Uh, by default, it's disconnected or unenabled, but you can enable it here, or you can go to this menu, scroll down here, and click the option where it's enabled by default. So every landing you do with every airplane, it will be enabled, and that it makes it easier to land on the carriers. You don't even have to worry too much about trying to catch the wire. You just have to be able to make it onto the deck, and it'll slow you down as if you caught the wire. Uh, and For landing, it's got the lights and the meatball and all that. Which is what's displayed over here. But the one in the screen here, you'll be able to use before you can even see the lights and the meatball there. Uh, it's got a bunch of static aircrafts. The F-18 Cs, it looks like. The Legacy Hornets are here. F-35s, I believe this is the, what do they call it, the Hawkeye. Radar aircraft. It's even got the sailors on board that they don't really move around. They just kind of act like they're talking to each other, and their bodies kind of wave around, but they don't move across the deck. The only ones that really move at all are the ones that pop up out of thin air when you select a catapult. See, they disappeared. So let's say I wanted to launch off of that catapult. You can see as they popped up here. And same for here. Well, I'll just go ahead and line up with one and demonstrate it and show you. We'll launch off this carrier. Now the one thing, they have static carriers as well. We're on currently the one of their moving characters, which is really neat. It adds much more realism, landing on a carrier. The speeds are a little bit more accurate when you're actually touching down, because the ship itself is doing about 25 knots, so you got about a 25 knot headwind as you're taking off or landing. But of course the deck is angled, so you're trying to land on the deck while the ship's moving to your right, as you're trying to come in. And so far, admittedly, the only ones I've landed on so far are the static carriers, in Microsoft Flight Simulator. But this is a really good carrier as well by Miltech. But let's go ahead and get set up for a takeoff, and show you the functionality of this carrier. Let's see. Go ahead and flip our landing light on. We'll go flaps down. We'll extend the launch bar as soon as we get into place. Anyways, make sure your nose wheel steering is on high to give you better maneuverability when taxiing on the deck, but just don't go very fast at all. Raise the power up. I guess I better release the brake there. Okay, and the one last thing before we get going, the Miltech Supercarrier Pro, to access this menu, it can either be in the drop down top of the screen toolbar, or you can assign it a spot in Flow. This is another product I'd recommend getting. Assign different things. There's been lots of reviews on this Flow thing for a while now. Just a little bit of power will get it going. You add too much and it'll take off taxiing way too fast. And then once you get moving, bring the throttles power back to idle. And just line up with the catapult using his instruction. He's waving us forward, and we'll just keep rolling forward till he tells us to stop. We're going a little fast. We'll slow down a little bit. A little bit more throttle. Okay, stop. Alright, that signal means to extend the launch bar, and hands out like that means to unfold the wings if they are folded, or in the F-14's case, unsweep the wings. and we'll take a look out front. And then you come up here. After you get into place and he tells you to stop, the grayed out check mark will light up yellow. You click that, he'll disappear. The guys that do the launch bar stuff will come up. It's yeah, it's pretty neat. And then when they step away, and this will be the guy, the launch guy. But after they're done and you're hooked up, the blast door will raise. See, it's it'll raise up. I probably should have captured it on camera while it was raising. But this is the only add-on aircraft I can think of that does that. That is really neat. And of course, this does this on the static Miltech carriers and the moving ones. Again, we're on a moving carrier right now, giving us about a 25 knot headwind. At this point, go ahead and, if you're in the F-18, go ahead and select low nose wheel steering or turn it off. Go from high to low. I just have it on a toggle switch. I'm not sure it really matters too much, but I'll go ahead and put it on low. And then make sure you're ready to go into afterburner. And when you're ready, click the green button. You'll see the guy over there making signals. Raise the power, go to full throttle, and just wait for the launch. And then gently pull back on the stick right after the deck, gear up, flaps up. Get some speed, and then you can come back out of afterburner once you've gained some speed and got away from the ground. And let's see if we can't try landing on her. This will be my third or fourth attempt trying to land on a moving carrier. Gaining a little bit too much altitude. Really, you don't need to be up more than 3,000. Probably 1,500, 2,000 feet is pretty good to do the pattern. Yeah, we were getting up to 4,000. That was a little too high. And after you come around the turn to turn final, I usually like to have it right at 1,000 feet. I don't like to be too much lower than 1,000, and if you're any higher than 1,000, you tend to come in way too high, or at least I do, because I can't descend fast enough without gaining too much airspeed. We're being the numbers. I'll go ahead. I'm going to have to put the speed brakes out to slow the aircraft down enough where I can put the gear and flaps down. Flaps full, hook down, gear down. There's the 3 lights for the gear. We're going to have to trim back a little bit. There we go. I just go immediately to full flaps. Gear down, flaps down, hook down, landing light on. Go ahead and And one thing I found out after a little research, while the static aircraft carriers by Miltech have a TACAN you can tune into, the movable carriers do not. So you'll have to just find them visually all the time.
Their general area is located on the map, but their specific location is not.
For Microsoft Flight Simulator, I'm not sure why they couldn't put some kind of, I guess because you can't have a movable beacon. Okay, we're getting a little too low. Climb back up. Yeah, like I said, this is only the second or third time I've actually flown the F-18 in the last year. Been flying the F-14 ever since I bought it. This plane's much more nimble and different speeds for approaches, and we'll go ahead and slow her back down. Okay, put the throttle back in a little bit. See, we're just dropping. Yeah, I guess it's about 140 to 150 knots is a good approach speed. Yeah, we are super low. Let's see if I can't still land on the wires. Well, we caught a wire. That wasn't a very pretty landing, though. I wasn't sure if I was going to catch a wire at all. One thing I found, because I caught the wire in another attempt that I don't have on footage, when you try to do it the proper way and catch a wire and go to full afterburner, what you would do in real life, in case you don't catch a wire, you want to have full throttle going in with afterburner to do a go around. Sometimes it does some weird things, like it'll sling you back over the ship. But I should be able to go to full afterburner without it moving forward. I mean, see, the wires don't actually stop you when you're in afterburner. So that's kind of a design flaw. Well, maybe not a design flaw, but kind of something that's not quite realistic, because you can't go to full afterburner after you catch the wire. And sometimes when you do catch the wire and go to afterburner, it'll slingshot you back to the back of the ship, and it's got some anomalies with the catapult system. or the excuse me, the arrest wire system. But you put the brakes on, toggle the tail hook, put flaps up, set trim back to standard because I moved it a little bit. Go ahead and put nose wheel steering on to high, and then slowly taxi off the run strip. Uh, but yeah, it's going to take some practice to keep flying the F-18. I've been so used to the F-14 and landing on a different carrier, add-on carrier. This one a little bit different. But yeah, the moving carrier's got some anomalies. Like when you press the pause button and you're on the carrier will keep moving forward when you're in the pause menu, but your aircraft won't. I'll show you real fast. See, your aircraft stays in one spot, but the carrier just keeps moving forward. And also in the description of this add-on carrier, it says it recommends to have crash damage turned off because it affects the landing and when you're taxiing and moving around. So when you're using this carrier, you have to have crash damage turned off. So basically, you can crash into anything, and it won't end your flight. You can just go to slew mode and put your aircraft back on the deck or whatever. Taxi. Click on that. It'll turn white. It'll turn from blue to white. And you just use the joystick, or on your Xbox controller or the flight stick if you have one of those. Right now I'm using a flight stick, and you press forward on the flight stick that you would normally make the aircraft go down to taxi the aircraft forward. Basically, it's like getting towed around on the deck without the engines running. And pull the flight stick back to make the aircraft come back. And again, this works on an Xbox controller as well. Press forward to stop. And you don't use your rudder pedals. You use aileron to turn left, rotate to the right, and this is to help you get different positioned to different spots on the ship. But you got to be careful because you can roll the aircraft off the edge of the deck, and it takes okay, we'll come back over here, click the white button there, it'll turn blue, and it will raise the elevator back up. See, it's slowly but surely raising the elevator back up, and then we'll push back onto the elevator. And yeah, it's a pretty neat little product. And of course, they have let me get this out of the way so you get a better view. It's got your escort destroyers accompanying you. The only thing, and maybe it's a limitation of Microsoft Flight Simulator, I'm not really sure, but the wake of this of the carriers, the movable ones, I mean, the wake is nowhere near big enough or long enough. Doing 25 knots, that carrier of that size should have a wake out to somewhere right here or longer. I mean, it would be massive. But I guess this might be a limitation of the simulator itself, and not so much of Miltech's Supercarrier. See, the deck is raised. We'll go ahead and drop the menu back down. And to unselect quick taxi, you just click it again. Anything lit up in white means that's what's selected. But you hit quick taxi, kind of line it up, and slowly roll it backwards. If you need to stop, press in the opposite direction. Okay, that ought to be good. We'll go ahead and set the parking brake. We'll deselect quick taxi and then hit the elevator button again. And the aircraft will lower with the elevator. I will say it's kind of finicky. I know why they tell you to turn the crash damage off, because it looks like it's about to go off the edge of the deck the way it's hopping. It's a little bit finicky. It's not perfect, but it's cool if you just wanted to mess about on a carrier for a little while, practice your landings, and getting to practice your carrier landings on an actually moving carrier, doing 20-25 knots. Just makes it a little bit more realistic on your speeds, and we're getting towed into the hangar deck. Now, of course, before now, you would have folded the wings up long before you got down here. But I'm just illustrating how this can work. We'll set the parking brake again. Deselect that. And I'm not going to press it because it does weird things to the airplane. But you can do this from the air as well before you land on the carrier deck. You can press a line to win, and the ship, it does it abruptly. It does it almost by magic, but the whole task force will actually change and turn directions into the wind to make landings easier. But it does it so abruptly, like it'll actually move your aircraft. See, it almost threw mine off off into the ocean. So that's something that might need to be worked on, making that more gentle or something. Hanger deck. So we'll go to slew mode, and see, even in slew mode, the carrier keeps going. So when you're using slew mode, you have to move your aircraft over the deck, press the button to lower your aircraft onto the deck, and then quickly take it off to get you back out of slew mode. And then once you're out of that, your aircraft will be moving at the same speed the carrier is. But yeah, in pause menu, active pause, regular pause menu, slew mode, the carrier will actually just leave without you.
And that's my overview of Miltech Supercarrier Pro. All in all, it's a good product. It does have some quirks, but it's pretty fun to mess around with, and I'd pick it up if you enjoy naval aviation. Thank you, and goodbye.